Welcome back. We have got an amazing scope to show you this time. It is phenomenal. So far, just first impressions. This is the new tracked Toric Ultra HD shot glass. Nice turrets, fairly large turrets. Very nice. Just all kinds of cool features on this thing. I'm not going to get into the details of what all this comes with just yet. I'm gonna get this thing mounted and out to the range. I am really excited to see how this thing performs. 30 mil tube. I had it out back a minute ago, just checking the glass, and it is, whoo, man. These things are coming in right around 1150, 1150 bucks roughly. Comes with a nice sunshade. So this particular one is a 4 to 20 by 50, 30 mil tube, beautiful turrets, illuminated reticle. It is nice looking, and I love the color too. It's not your standard black scope. I love this. I love this kind of a grayish color, this sort of a gunmetal gray. Let's get this thing mounted up. Okay, we've got the rifle all leveled up. Level up the scope. We'll also check this on a plumb bob too out back, that everything is right where we want it. So these rings that we're using are a 6-hole. Okay, everything is torqued down. Check our front level up here, back level here, and we are spot on. So, out to the range we go. All right, we're out here at the range. We've got a target hung up down there. It's really foggy out here today, so it's going to be challenging, but I think we can pull this off. It'll be all right. Real world conditions, I guess. So I've got to get this thing sighted in real quick, and then we'll start our tracking test. Okay, so we've got this thing zeroed. Shot a couple groups. We're syncing them pretty close there, so I'm pretty happy with that. So let's start this tracking test and see how this thing does. All right, we're going to come up 5 mils. For shot number 2. Always keeping the same aim point, the same little orange dot at the very bottom center. That's always our aim point. We're never going to vary from that. We're going to come up 10 mils now. So far, this thing is just spot on. I'm really liking it. Okay, we're coming to the right 2.5 mils to the bottom right corner. Again, always keeping that aim spot. Just drilled it. Man, the tracking is just spot on this thing. Come back to 0. Okay, come back to 0. Everything's re-zeroed, and I'm going to take 2 follow-up shots of my original target. So this thing has been up and down and left and right and all over the place here. So let's see what she does. Perfection. I like it. We're good to go. Okay, tracking test is done. From what I can see from here, it looks really, really good, but we'll get this thing back to the garage and kind of go over that target. This is this is nice. This is really nice. So I'm gonna warm up my hands. Getting pretty cold out here. But let's let this thing cool down a little bit, and we'll see you back at the shop. Well, we took the tracked Toric Ultra HD out to the range, and we did a tracking test on the scope, and it was spot on. It was phenomenal how well this thing tracked. The glass is some of the best glass, if not the best glass I've probably looked through in this scope. It's very nice. 30 mil tube. You know, it's a 4 to 20 by 50. It's got the nice sunshade. We're going to go over some of the features. I do have to set the zero stop on this now that I have this thing adjusted for this rifle. So we're going to jump over here on the bench and show you some of that. But first, I think we should take a look at the tracking test here and see how this this scope performs. Because if it doesn't track, it doesn't matter how good the glass is, but I was pretty impressed on the tracking capabilities. So let's set this up, take a look. So I use a pretty standard test when I do any kind of tracking work at all. I make sure I have a zero spot, make sure that I'm shooting decent groups here. This here is always my aim point. I never deviate from this aim point here. And then I come up 5 mils, or what's equal to 18 inches, 10 mils, and then I usually come over here, down here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And what we've got here, I'll get a little bit close up so you can see the bullet holes. And this thing was phenomenal. So there's my zero, just to make sure that I got the scope dialed in correctly. There's shots 1, 10, and 11. And to give you an idea of the group size, it's a tiny little group. Up here to 2, shot 3, that is the one I pulled. Shot 4, dead center to shot 5, we're right there too. Over to 6, we're right in there. And then up to 7, right in there. Over here to 8, we're good there. Over here to 9, this is one I knew for a fact I pulled, so I did a follow-up shot on that, and I'm sinking it right there. And then back down here, again to 10 and 11. So all in all, that was phenomenal for tracking on this scope. Very, very happy with that. So we know it tracks very well, but let's take a look at some of the features that this scope has to offer. The turrets, it has illuminated reticle, 11 different power settings. It's got some good features. So let's get up here nice and close and take a look at some of this stuff. And I do have to actually install my zero stop on this, so it's kind of perfect timing. So let's talk about some of the specifics on this scope. This particular scope it's in mils. It's not MOA. So the turrets in mils also match the reticle. Now this is also a first focal plane scope, or front focal plane. It's got turrets that you have to lift the cap before you can dial. Get them where you want them, and they just lock right back down. Very smooth, I like it. The turrets themselves, very, very positive. I like that too. I did reset these turrets here to 0, but I want to show you guys how to do this. You take your Allen wrench right here at the top, just pop this loose. This piece here has got a real nice little rubber O-ring on there to keep moisture and dirt and stuff out. This pops up. There's also a nice little O-ring right here. Now here's your zero stop. There's a pin right here and there's a pin inside. We can take a closer look at that. The pin needs to be on the right hand side of the pin inside, and then there's some real nice little set screws here for you. We can just drop that in place. There's your zero stop right there. Just come in and snug up these little set screws here. Okay, that's set. Then you simply put your cap back on and get that zeroed right where you want it, right on the number 0 there, and reinstall your set screw on the top. Okay, let's see how that works. So we're on 0. I can dial up. There we go. Right where we want it. Beautiful. Here's your parallax here. This particular scope goes from 25 to infinity. Works very well. When I was out at the range today, checking it, right at 100 on the mark here was spot on. everything was in focus. This is also illuminated, 1 to 11, and an off in between each number. So you can find that number that you like with the illumination you like and just save it right there. Or of course, in different lighting, you can change that quite a bit too. Brighten it up, dim it down. Underneath this little cap here is where the battery's going to go. It takes a very standard, it's the CR2032 battery. That pops in right here. Just like that. For your power, it goes from 4 up to 20. And it's got a fair amount of resistance, which I like because it's not sloppy. It's not you know, if you want to set it on 6 or whatever, it's going to stay there. I've seen some other scopes that are a little bit too loose, and before you know it, you're shooting on a slightly different power than what you were before. Same thing with your windage turret here. You just pull it where you want it, set it in where you want it, then it's locked up. Zero stop, love that. There we go. Those are the features on this scope that I really, really like. It's a well-built, well-made scope, great glass. These things currently are selling for $1,154 right from Tract. Hands down, worth that price. Absolutely worth that price. So now that we've got the zero stop set up and we've got, we know that we're hitting the bullseye, we're going to take this thing out and put it through some paces at some long range. I'll try to get some real good video footage of that. And, you know, we want to get some more rounds down this thing too. And just make sure it's going to hold up. I do suspect it will, but, you know, we got to test it. As soon as I'm done testing this, like I said before, I'm going to send this down to West Desert Shooter, and he's going to test it. And if you're not subscribed to him, I'll leave a link below. And then it's heading off to the Social Regressive for him to test it. So we'll see what we'll see what they have to say. I think that they're really going to like it. I'd be shocked if they didn't. But anyways, big thumbs up to Tract for sending this out for some testing and review. I really do appreciate that. It gives us some good content, and you know, hopefully it'll help move a couple scopes for them too. And they're absolutely worth it. I hesitate to say it this soon, but it might be my new favorite scope, and I'm serious about that. It's that nice. It really is that nice. So hey, thanks Tract. I appreciate you guys sending this out, and stick around because we'll be doing some follow-up videos on this too. And gosh, I'm very, very pleased with the scope. So anyways, hey, thanks for watching, and we're gonna catch you real soon. We got a lot coming up, so we'll see you next time.